for the rest of our
accidentally summon a demon playing
good
media.
afternoon po sa lahat ng nandito. Good afternoon po.
Paleontologists.
Afternoon po.
Good afternoon, sir.
Apologies
Good afternoon po.
for apologies for our
Fossils and bones.
some ditch and our technical. No? So I wasn't able to share my screen, so I have to disable some options in my account. Okay, welcome to our class po sa lahat ng enrolled ng students.
Power Ranger.
Third
20 just said water. Harry Potter. Scooby.
for the third try. So welcome to Philippine Christian University. Welcome to Collab Group. For those not able to join us in the orientation, our extension group. So we have around 20 more extension groups under the Transnational Education Extension Program of the PCU grad school. So we had just concluded our annual conference we are called site coordinators, and we have adjunct faculty members under each site extension. And for our case, I'll be sharing the lists of professors that will be handling or assigned to courses for this tri-semester, for this third tri-sem, no? And for you to access them and for you to be included in the group chats, no, for each subject enrolled. So we are supposed to have at least 4 group chats for every subject that we are enrolled in with the professor, so we know the updates. And then the second and then the fifth group, no, which we should have been part of in enrollment is our batch, no. So I think I have one Collab group for May 2022 group chat. So please, those classmates who are already a member, you can invite others who are not yet in the group chat, because most of the time I'll be sending or disseminating information relevant to our program or PCU in general through the general group chats. No? So there is a group chat for our batch. And then we also have one group chat that is intended for the information technology or communications technology department of PCU. And that is the ITD, no? The IT department. Then the group chat for IT, we have there the vice president for ICT, Dr. Mario. So he is in command, no, with the staff there that would assist us in the processing of our PCU email accounts, credentials, updating us in the learning management system, access, and then also for the processing of our identification cards, no, our ID. And also we can make use of that as our communication to the Treasury Department. We also have the registration certificate, no? And some of the personalities or administrators are also part of the ITD group chat, no? So I hope that you also invite, no? You can add classmates to the group chats. So more or less, I mentioned around 6, no? So 4 from our courses or subjects enrolled. So we have one research, one group chat for management, another group chat for financial management, and another group chat for the human resource, no? The HRM. So they will follow suit, no? In the sequence of schedule. So for this afternoon, I'll be handling the first subject, which is on research and statistics, and then followed after our session is the groups 1, 2, and 3, no, for masters. That is to be handled by Dr. Enrico Santos. So he will be giving his first session at around 6 o'clock for the groups 1, 2, and 3. So nag-usap po kami so we can get acquainted, no? And then those belonging to other groups, definitely professors will call upon the first session. So no problem with that, no? So ang importante is yung first subject natin, which is research. So alam natin the next time I can coordinate with other professors how you can join the group chats, no? I think also Miss Maan is our student assistant, no, for Collab group. She is also assisting students dun sa mga enrollment information related to programs, and also with respect to the group chats, no, kung may kailangan na ma-access, no, sa ating mga subjects na enrolled. So I hope, no, meron tayong masalihan na group chats. Importante po, I would like to extend apologies kasi yung iba walang mga messenger accounts, no? But this is the best option so far for a platform that majority can access. So meron po tayong mga group chats. So I hope we can join. And also, if you message me every now and often, minsan nasasapawan, no? So hindi ko na minsan nakapag-respond promptly. So I see to it that dun sa mga group chats, ma-disseminate ko yung mga information, no? So hopefully makapagsama tayo or makasama tayo dun sa mga group chats, no? And just to briefly go through with your program. So you are enrolled for 12 units. I'm speaking for the master's program. So lahat tayo sa master's program, meron tayong 12 units ngayong semester. So this is the third try. Our subjects are in the first try, no? Because yun ang scheme, no, ng PCU. So it's based on semester. So ito po ang ating 12 units, first 4 subjects. And then by September, we will have the second try subjects. So September is the opening, or it is the first semester of the new school year. Okay, so we are still under academic year 2021-2022. So sa September, that will be academic year 2022-2023. So kasama po tayo doon para sa ating second semester subjects. No? So ito yung another 12 units, and the master's program will now be enrolled in their specialization. So expect na ang groupings nyo konti-konti na lang. No? So based on how many students enrolled in the program. So nandun na yung mga taga-hospital, sama-sama na sila. Nandun na yung taga-MBA, Public Health. Nandun na yung Educ Management, Public Administration. So you will now be enrolled under your specialization. So that will be on September. And then September, October, November, December, January, you will have your third try. So that would be your last semester. Okay, so last semester for the school year under your program. So another 12 units po yun. No? So 12, 12, and then the last 12 units. So that will be on the third try. No? So in the school year, that would be the second try. So the subjects there would be your last 12 subjects before you will take your comprehensive exam. So magko-compre na tayo by so January, February, March, by April. So mga April, May, you will have your compre exam. And then after that, we will wait for a month for the release of the exam, and then after which you will have your presentation of your seminar paper for the non-thesis track. No? So yung mga non-thesis, magpe-present po tayo ng paper, which everything else will start from the research class this afternoon. So we make sure no na mabilis ang ating graduation. So kaya ang schema ng MM Collab ating grupo, so ima-match natin yung mga requirements no para hindi overwhelming. Okay? So yung produkto natin dito sa klase natin, yun ang magiging produkto hopefully, no? It will be developmental in approach. So the next subject that you will be enrolled, you can still make use of your output here for the research. You just have to improve and then follow some of the formats kasi may ibang format doon na gagamitin ng professor, and then hopefully that will become your seminar paper. So yun ang ipe-present natin doon sa mga non-thesis track. And then after that presentation, then you are done with your comprehensive exam. Then next to that is graduation. Okay, so it's actually 1.5, something like that. It's 1 point something year, no? Na ma-accomplish natin ang program. Okay? So I think that's a good news because under the CMO of the CHED Memorandum Order, this is now the Memorandum Order for the Graduate School Program. Yung dating alam natin no sa iba na nakapag-masters na. In my time, almost 40 ang masters units. No? So now it is 36. So that's under CHED. No? And then the PhD, the last time we have 60 plus, now it's 48. So yan ang pinaka-minimum na na sinabi ng CHED under the policy standards and guidelines for the completion of a program. Okay, so yun po ang ating curriculum mapping. So meron tayong 12 units, and then next is 12 units, and then another 12 units, and then you will have your compre exam, and then graduation. Now, for the current school year, we have around only 4. Yeah, 4, and then there's 2 to follow. So around 6 students express their intention for a thesis track. So merong 6 na estudyante na nagtitesis. Yung 2 graduate na, so magde-depend na sila kanilang thesis. So when you will have your thesis track, you will have to defend it. So there is a title defense, and then there is the final defense. So yung 2 estudyante, tapos na sa kanilang final defense, so hopefully they will join graduation by August. So meron pong mid-year graduation ang PCU that will be on August 27 at the PICC. And then other batches may 4, no? So sila naman yun ang magti-thesis. Okay? So the difference is that thesis, you have to defend it. Okay? Non-thesis, you will have to present it. So there is a colloquium that we will present our seminar paper output. Now, itong seminar paper output, magsisimula po to dito sa ating course, which is on research and statistics. And then next semester, pag nag-enroll kayo ng seminar paper 1, or thesis 1, kung thesis track kayo, so you just have to continue. Okay? So yun ang ating orientation. No? So wag na tayong mag-iba-iba ng topic. No? So tutulungan natin ang isa't isa na makabuo ng topic para yun na yung i-continue natin. No? So it's more, well, there is still rigor, but more convenient on our part because we don't have to read every now and then new literature and studies. No? So mag-isip na tayo ngayon, no, ng ano ba ang ating pinaka-final seminar paper. Okay? So dito sa ating subject na to, yun ang pag-iisipan natin. Yun ang gagawin natin. And then the next semester, there is a course on seminar paper 1 or thesis 1. That's the counterpart. So another professor will give you the format, additional subtitles or requirements para mabuo yung paper. And then on the third semester, third try, that will be seminar paper 2. Okay? So talagang mabubuo natin, no, ang ating papel in a one school year, one calendar year. And then yun ang ating i-represent as an output. So later on, we'll check on the recordings of those colloquia, no? Yung gawa na ng last semester na mga batches kung paano nila na-i-present ang kanilang paper. So sa mga non-thesis. Okay? So again, no, our orientation here is simply to really align. No? So i-align natin yung ating interests on what topics so we can move a little faster, a little more easier for us because this subject, which is research, it will be improved, no, by next semester on seminar paper 1. Tapos ma-improve pa yan dun sa pangatlong semester yung seminar paper 2. So para talaga makapag-present tayo dun sa ating seminar paper, which is a requirement for the non-thesis. Okay? So magtulungan po tayong lahat, no, dun sa ating completion ng program. Now, we have designed this so it will be easier for each and every one. Ang ating another good news pala. Ang seminar paper for the non-thesis, you can work it out individually or collaboratively. Okay? So we allow collaborative work. Now, I think you know the message, no? When it is collaborative, 2 or 3 or 4 members of the group, so much is expected, no? So mas maraming ini-expect na contribution, no? Kasi nga 4 na ang nagtutulungan, no, para dun sa papel. Because we believe that there are some classmates, no, in one program that they have same interest on study variable or topics. So why not make it collaboratively? Or we can do it interdisciplinary. Baka may program kayo na ang match nyo ay mga taga-edu or ang match nyo ay mga taga-public ad. So why not work it out? No? Kaya yun ang ginawa nating scheme sa research and statistics class. We put together all the students. So you can meet and match, no? Research interest among ourselves. And then perhaps, no, we have been successful by doing collaboration or interdisciplinary approach, no, in the study or in research. Okay? So as of the moment, yun po ang ating mga importante na information para sa lahat. Okay? So meron tayo mga group chats available which are necessary that we have to be a member of because I cannot disseminate information now and then personally kasi maraming mga messages na dumadating sa messenger ko. So the best option there is to ask classmates that you can join in a group chat. And our group chat for the batch, there is one, no? Yung May 16, 2022, yun po ang ating batch group chat. And then there is one for all across programs, yung PCU IPD, yung IT. So para po yung sa lahat ng mga naka-enroll, no? So yun doon ang ating group chat. Okay? So others nag-group chat sila by class, no? So there's no problem with that. So it's easy for the professor to join. So you can have a direct contact with the professor para dun sa schedule ng meeting, mga sharing of materials, no, na you can access through the group chat. Okay? Now, for our class, let me share my screen. We are using the Google Classroom. So hope everyone able to access our classroom. Okay, ito po ang ating classroom. Okay? So this is our classroom for research and statistics. Let me check. Okay. So meron na po tayong 44 students na naka-access ng ating classroom. Okay, so welcome po. So sana po yung iba makapag-access dito sa ating classroom. Okay? So how to access? Let me just copy this invite and then I'll put it in the chat box. So for those not able to access yet our classroom, so it's in the chat box. You can click that and then it's done. No? So you're part of the classroom. So the intention here is for our course to integrate all the materials that are needed. No? So ito po ang ating Google Classroom. Okay? So this is still under at pcu.edu.ph. So we are using the same domain. Okay? So ito po, no? para ma-maximize po natin ang ating issuance of our PCU account. So lahat po tayo may account ng PCU. Okay? Sana po lahat tayo nagkakaroon na ng account. Okay, before I continue, should there be other questions? This session, we are together with the rest of the other majors under the master's program, and also joining us ay mga PhD. Meron din dito yung mga taga-education. So, nandito po tayo lahat para sa subject natin na research and statistics. Before I continue, should there be other observation, queries? Paki-raise hand po or use your mic po to be acknowledged. May tanong pa po? Class code. Okay. So our class code, ito po ang ating class code. Yan. So that's our class code. You can screenshot. This is our link. So I copy this in our chat box. So you just have to click it. Yan po ang ating class code. So later on, we can maximize the use of our Google application, no? Google Suite. So meron po dito ang ating mga drive, which we will be using. Of course, we will have our email. Tapos we can do our Excel. We can prepare slides here, documents. We can have our chat. We have a Google Meet. Some sessions, they do the Google Meet. So no problem. And then later on, when you will conduct your pilot testing on your variables, then we can adopt the Google form para dun sa ating data collection. So we can have the Google form. So we will discuss some of the features here, no, under this Google app. So this is, according to PCU, what is good here is that this is an unlimited drive. So we can store some of our documents para hindi siya mag-allot ng space sa ating private na drive. So we can put some of here. And then PCU mentioned that the access to this extends years after graduation. So I think mga 5 years. So pwede pa nating magamit ang ating PCU account. Okay? So binigyan po tayo lahat ng account. So meron tayong account sa PCU. Yes, ito po ang ating class code. Questions so far? Wala na po ba? Okay. So if none, let me continue. So this is our classroom, official classroom. I'll be posting here announcements, learning materials for our class. No, we have here our course guide. So this is for the PhD and the master's research. So you just have to click on this and then okay, this is our course guide, no, for research methods and statistics. So this is for the PhD and then we have here one for the masters. Yan. Okay? So we have clickable supplements. So you just have to make use of this. No? You can click this and then you can access some of the materials here, no? Linked to the course outline. Okay? So ito po yung ating course outline. Ayan. So I posted dito po sa ating classroom. Okay, so this is our course outline. We shall use this for the duration of the semester. Avail of the supplement links leading to focal points. The course organization shall be discussed during the synchronous class sessions. Course requirements are also to be highlighted. Okay, so in terms of our requirements, no, for the course for this particular subject, so I have here posted. Okay, these are our course requirements. No? So the first, we only have 4 requirements. So that would be task 1, task 2, task 3, and then task 4. So our task 1 is on research scaffold. And then task 2 is the skeletal MRAD with emphasis on introduction. Introduction posits already the review of literature and the study variables. And then the task number 3 is the skeletal MRAD with methodology. So this is practically on the research design. So attached also are your sample actual data instrument to be used. Okay, and then task number 4 is the final MRAD. So this is now the manuscript with results, discussion, implications, and then acknowledgement, and then, of course, references. So ito po ang ating 4 na requirements para sa ating subject. Okay? So in short po, magkakaroon po tayo ng submission ng essay. No? I am just would like to call it as an essay because it's not really the full-blown thesis, though it follows the publication format, which is the MRAD. So MRAD, no? I, introduction, M, methodology, R, results, analysis, and discussion. No? So the MRAD, which is intended for reporting research output. So that is our template, no, for the course. Now, we have some examples later, no, on how to prepare the MRAD. Now, the one I mentioned earlier, that we already have sessions for research for the past year. So we were able to conduct a series of lectures from experts in the various fields of research. So nag-invite po tayo, mga 4 days po yun, no? Series of lectures in some of the aspects relevant to research. So I hope you can click this, okay? And just go over with those presentation, no? The webinar or the interactions with the speaker, resource speaker during those academic exchanges, no? Yung conversations dun sa mga iba't ibang parte ng paggawa ng research. So, marami po tayong nagawa na webinar patungkol sa research. And for this semester, we also have design 1. No? So, kasi kailangan na meron din tayong mga bago, no? Mga bagong resource speakers para mag-share sa kanilang expertise on research. So don't worry, we have designed that for Collab Group so we can assist the students in a more fashionable way, no, that would be accessible because we are still adapting the flexible learning or the platform modality, which is on hybrid. No? So most of the time, we meet for analysis on the topics, and then the rest of that would be your individual learning experience. So nandun na po yung mga accomplishment, mga paggawa ng mga requirements dun sa mga subjects natin. Okay? So again po, meron po tayong 4 na tasks. So these are the requirements. Okay? So this afternoon, we will be talking about the task number 1, which is on the submission of research scaffold. Now, if you're still looking for your title in the, if I can borrow it from the other universities, most schools, when students enroll for graduates program, part ng kanilang admission is your title or your proposed research. So automatic, no? Sa first day pa lang, kailangan na nila kung ano ba ang gusto mo na research. Kasi yun ang dahilan bakit most of the students delay graduation because of that. No? So kaya sa umpisa pa lang, ano ang research mo? Now I think the best way to analyze that is that along the way, it will guide us on what topics that we can concentrate. Okay? Alam natin na overwhelming ang mga subjects sa grad school, no? So pag tayo ay alam na natin kung ano yung interest natin sa research, so lahat ng subjects pwede nating i-align doon, no? Para yung babasahin natin, yung literature, yung review natin, magiging selective, no? So kahit yan ay isang let's say for example, isa siyang requirement ng isang course, pipilitin nating ma-align, no, doon sa ating interest ng research para yung babasahin natin more or less naka-focus na, no? Okay? Hindi yung ang dami nating binabasa tapos ang ending nasabog tayo, no? So I think that's the rationale why research is number 1, no, in the first try as a fundamental subject. Because at the end, sisingilin pa rin tayo kung ano yung nagawa nating essay or yung research-based na report. Okay? So, yun din ang ninanais natin dito sa atin. Now, if I may share it again. Now, dito sa ating task, no? Okay, ito yung ating task number 1, no? Ito yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Okay, how to accomplish task number 1. Okay, so if you're not yet sure about what interest that you have in your specialization, I have here some of the links. So this is the nuances of business research. So for those MBA, okay, so in particular, you can click on this, but anyone can access this. So please take note that our enrollment to PCU, we are part of the Master in Management. So all of us are in the management spectrum. No? So may management ng hospital, public ad, public health, international healthcare system, education management. So tayo ay nasa Master in Management program. Okay. Kaya if you notice, most of our courses really are towards management. So pag-uusapan natin dito yung financial management, human resources management. Okay? So makikita mo na meron talagang it is anchored on the management spectrum. Okay? So, in particular, kung ikaw ay MBA, so pwede ka dito, no? You can click that. Then there are some of the study titles or variables which can help you on how to construct, how to begin with, no, your research. Okay? Specific research area. So, pag na-click mo yon, ito yung lalabas doon, no? So, ito yung business research. So some examples. So you can concentrate on analyzing the market, financial, if you can talk about brand analysis, product analysis, risk analysis, competitor analysis, demand analysis, distribution analysis, because you are, I think you are also enrolled, no, in financial, human resources, logistics, quality assurance. So these are important aspects, no? And maybe this can help you. You can just click that, no? And you see some of the study variables which can guide you on your choices, no, of interest towards writing. Okay? So ito yung isa doon sa link na pwede nating i-click. Okay. We also have here topics for business administration and management. Yeah. So may mga top 15 thesis topics. So maybe you can go through with these topics. Ayan. Employee retention, total quality management, financial incentives, worker morale, influence of advertising, consumer behavior. So these are some of the very much related, no, study variables that you can work with. Okay? So pwede nating supply chain, okay? HRM, organizational growth. So maraming mga pwede nating makuhanan dito, no? Na doon tayo magsimula, no, sa ating pagsaliksik. Okay? So meron tayong mga links available. Ayan. So these are in our Google Classroom. Okay, meron din dito topics for education. So for those who are in the educational management, so maybe you can take a look at this, no? Education studies. So what are those area na pwede nating magiging interests, no? So ito yung mga areas, no? Yan. So I'm not saying that we are confining ourselves to these topics, no? I am just looking at it as a supplement. So you may have the birth ideas, no? So mga paano magsimula, no? Dun sa pagpili ng mga topics. And then we also have here for public ad. Yan. Okay. So management issues, support administrative skills. So these are some of the suggested topics, no, for research. So marami naman po. Okay? I think I missed out some of the, I will add, no, na nawala dito yung para hospital administration. Okay. And for those in the IT, I think we have some students here. Ito pala, public ad, hospital administration, ayan, healthcare. Okay, in some they call it the ayan. In some they call it the capstone. So capstone. Para sa iba, no, yung sa ibang program, no, ang research ay nire-report in capstone, no? Because the IT, computer science group, they always look at the infrastructure or creating, proposing their own algorithm, no? Yung software construction nila, no? So ang tawag doon sa kanila ay capstone. Okay, so these are some of the supplements. So I'll keep adding, no, dito sa ating Google Classroom ng mga materials that will connect us, no, to doing research. Okay? And I think here I have some modules. You can click on these modules. So ito yung mga ating gagawin ngayong hapon para dito, no? Para dito sa ating introduction to our research class, no? So this is research and statistics class. Now, should there any be questions before we continue? Clarifications? Meron po ba? Sir, we can't join the Google Classroom po. Ano kaya ang mangyayari? I hope you can use the at pcu.edu.ph. Yeah. So baka naka-default Doc Ellie, baka naka-default yung browser mo. So palitan mo ng PCU kasi talagang maghihingi siya ng change account. Kasi ito ay restricted, no? Exclusive sa PCU kasi institutional ang ginagamit natin.
Sir, I mean na po, okay na po ako.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ayan. So meron po tayong kasi kadalasan sa atin naka-default, no, ang ating technology. Parang nakaganito, no? So pag naka-default siya, so pag ina-access natin sa iba, dito siya babagsak or sa ibang accounts, no? So palitan natin ng PCU para ma-access natin. Okay, so hopefully marami. Dumadami ang 44 pa rin. So paki-invite yung iba to join us here. Okay, so let's start. I will not preempt you, but I think I have posted here 2 examples of the last group's output on task number 1. So para masimplihan natin ang lahat-lahat, no? So meron akong mga sample dito na may mga corrections para paano ma-improve, no, ang ating mga proposals. And then I have 2 modules here that will talk about more specific on the contents, on what are expected, and then also in the preparation for our introduction. So we have the literature and review. So in the importance of theory, so we have to have a framework to guide us, no, on identifying what variables that we would like to measure. Okay? So ito po ang ating task number 1. Okay? Now, before we go into that, let me first share our intro to research. So I use the term research ka ba? Kasi you complete me. No? So most of the time, research is really dreadful. No? Parang lahat tayo dumaan dyan. No? Ayaw natin yung word na research. Kasi parang yan ay isang mabagal na paraan, no, sa ating pag-graduate. No? Even in the undergraduate school. No? Hindi tayo graduate na walang research na nagawa. Okay? So there is always an adventure as we always sought, no, new knowledge. Yun ang ginagawa natin sa research. So lahat ng mga nakikita natin sa paligid, we want to ascertain by measuring, by testing, by analyzing data available, so we can look into a more meaningful definition, more meaningful description of phenomena, no? Yung mga nangyayari sa atin. Okay? So definitely yung nangyari sa COVID, bakit kailangan ng vaccination, bakit kailangan ng lockdown, hindi naman yun whimsical. No? Hindi naman yun naisipan lang ng isang tao tapos dineclare niya. Those were products of a lot of researches. Bakit ano ang uh, frequency ng transmission, no? Ng virus, no? Yung sinabi natin na 1:10, mga ganyan, no? So all of these are grounded on research. Okay? Kaya sa academe, ito yung challenge na meron sa atin lahat. No? So research ka ba? Kasi you complete me. So hindi tayo daw gagraduate pag walang research. So ito yung makapagkompleto sa atin. Okay? Now, let me have a short exercise. So I hope that you can join me. Yeah, the session is put on record. So anytime we can retrieve this, and if necessary, I can share. You just tell me if you need the recording of our session. Okay, so let me allow you to invite you to use our chat box for this next slide. So I would just like to ask you, what do you see? Can we use the chat box for our answers? Please answer the question, what do you see? Pakisagot po, what do you see? Okay, another picture here. What do you see? So, pakisagot po. So, what do you see? And then this one, what do you see? Wow. Nakaka-amaze ang mga sagot ko. Sige, continue. So, what do you see? And then another picture, what do you see? Okay, so we have here two pictures. Okay, what do you see? And then what do you see? Continue. Okay. To be honest, looking at your answers, thank you so much for sharing your answers on the two pictures. Same question, what do you see? Looking at your answers po, parang ayoko nang mag-continue ng lecture. Parang handang-handa na po tayo sa research na gagawin. Okay? Kasi yung mga sagot nyo, yung mga sagot na hindi nakikita natin or nakikita ng iba, no? So, ang tanong po ay, what do you see? What do you see? Pero yung iba, they see poverty, loneliness. Oh, ang lalim. So, pwede na tayong mag-umpisa ng research. Okay? So, malalim, no? Mga loneliness, poverty, ano pa yon dito? So, malalim ang mga sagot. Okay? Acceptance of their poor living conditions. Lalim. Okay? Pero gusto ko yung iba. What do you see? Pan. Okay. Dila. Yung mga ganun, no? So there is poverty. Yeah. One man, one woman, both sitting. So that's literally what you see, no? Old man in a cramped space. Scarcity of resources. Ang lalim. Malalim yan, ha? Okay? So, homeless. Okay? Evacuation, poverty, air-conditioned house. Okay? Contentment, finding higher purpose. Ang lalim. So, pwede na tayong mag-dismiss, no? Mag-research na tayo. Okay? So, yan, pabebe si tatay. Ayun, talagang literally, nagpabebe si tatay. Okay. Now, both your answers can be grouped into what we call the ontology and epistemology. No? The epis and the onto. So what you see on the set of objects, and then the epis is what we want to measure or perceive with the use of the data. No? So, malalim, no? Kasi ang poverty, kailangan nating i-depensa, no? Kung meron ba talagang poverty dito. Meron ba talagang loneliness, no? Hindi na kailangan i-depensa yung dila ni tatay, talagang lumabas, no? Electric fan, nandiyan na yan eh, no? So, klarong-klaro na may electric fan. Okay? So, pero kung sasabihin natin poverty, loneliness, that is something, a phenomenon which we need to describe by gathering set of data, no? Or doing a process so we can investigate whether there is really loneliness, there is really poverty along the way, no? As observed. So, malalim. Okay? So, salamat sa mga sagot. And I think what we have answered, yun ang start ng ating research. Okay? So, ready na tayong mag-research. Kasi nakikita natin yung mga hindi nakikita. No? Actually, this is the aftermath of the Tacloban. So, this is looting, right? So, this picture, not taken by me, no, but this picture from Tacloban, no, when they really rush to open stores, baka sila ay gutom na or hindi natin alam kung ano yung mga rason kung bakit. Pati yung electric fan, kung ano-ano man kinuha ni tatay doon, no, na pwedeng makinabangan niya, no, kung ano man, no, ang nawala sa kanya. So this is Yolanda, no? Sa Tacloban. Okay? So ito yung mga binubuksan ng mga stores. Yan. So ito yung phenomenon ng nangyari na yun. Okay, this one, I think I've read across, no? Ito ay Hong Kong. Tama, no? Ito yung mga apartments sa Hong Kong. Okay? Ito yung nire-rent nila, yung space lang na yan, no? Yung box. No? So this is a rented apartment space. So yung space ni tatay parang bed space. High-rise building, tapos may bed space, kaya may lock siya. No? So kanya-kanya silang ownership niyan. Kanya-kanyang lease, no? Itong space na to. So hindi ito prison cell, ito ay tahanan. No? So this is an urban based housing in Hong Kong. Okay. So ito po yung dalawang pictures. Pero ang marami sa atin nakita yung malalim na kahulugan, malalim na mensahe, no? Sa mga pictures na meron tayo dito ngayong hapon. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for your answers. So I guess, no, as mentioned, we are ready to do research. So yung nakita natin hindi lang skin, no? So we see the skin deep. Okay? So talagang yung epis, yung may pagnanais na maintindihan ang bagay-bagay sa gamit ng datos. So kailangan natin mag-gather ng ebidensya para ma-describe natin, no, ng tama ang mga nangyayari or yung mga nakikita natin or na-observe. Okay? So this is on the scientific inquiry, scientific process. So this is what we will do in this course. No? So research is always based on scientific inquiry. Okay. So let me proceed. The nuances of research. What is and what is not. Okay. So maybe this can help us look into our own escapade. No? Kasi part ng ating task number 1 is to create our own general matrix of understanding a phenomenon. So how do we go about that? So let's discuss first some of the nuances. Okay, when we do research, well, it is always social. No? So society is always part of our big lens on questioning, probing, or seeking a higher level of understanding on the things that are happening around us. So most of the time, we always generate data coming from people, whether it is randomly selected or purposefully selected. So sila talaga yon, or the interest group. So those group of people which are part of that situation or phenomenon. Okay, research, there has to be purpose. So we need to have a focus. Most of the time, when we sit on panel, pag nagpa-panel tayo dun sa mga nagre-research, ang ending, wala silang nagawang analysis kasi ang dami nilang gustong gawin. So as early as now, we only need X and Y. So understanding relationship. That's the second, no? That's the second picture. So we need to look at the focus. So what is your lens? Okay? So saan ba? Saan ang centrality ng inyong pag-observe, pag-analyze sa isang phenomenon? So you need to have a focus. Now, in the undergrad, I envy some universities that before students enroll in research, the school make use of the summer period for immersion. Okay? So talagang prerequisite to writing a thesis is to immerse. So immersion is looking at the focus. So first you have to submit your intent. What is your intent on research? Okay? So sa Ateneo, yun ang ginagawa. Halimbawa, gusto ko prostitution. So meron silang mga auxiliary, meron silang mga collaborators, meron silang mga housing facilities that you can really spend time to look for your focus because you will be answering a problem. So you need to ascertain your problem. Okay? And immersion is very important. No? So i-immerse ka, no? So gusto mo children in conflict with the law. So doon ka sa mga bahay ampunan ng mga ano yung bata na in conflict with the law, they are called help me. Ano yung tawag doon? Sila ay mga yung minors na ayun na, meron nang sumagot. Okay, correct. Thank you. So, juvenile delinquency. No? So, sila ay mga bata, no, na may kasalanan o may conflict sa batas, no? So pwede kang ilagay doon, no? Pwede kang i-expose doon. Okay? So meron silang ganong arrangement. And most of the time, you see really the focus. No? Meron kasing isang outstanding na thesis. Ang gusto niya, prostitution. Now, for the outside world, parang sasabihin natin, my goodness, ano pa bang gusto mo sa prostitution? Talagang nandyan naman yan eh. Para bang it's a common phenomenon. Gusto mo eh. Gusto mo yung prostitution. So, immersion. So, yung school, dadalhin ka dun sa Angeles kasi nandun yung kanilang midway, no? Midway collaborators. So, dadalhin ka doon buong summer, doon ka, no? I-expose ka doon, no? Para makita mo kung paano ba ginagawa, paano ba ang kalakalan, no, ng prostitution. Para makakita ka ng problema, no? So, purpose, that's the focus. Now, bakit siya naging outstanding? Kasi ang kanyang thesis was not anymore centered on the prostitutes, of which somehow yung most of the common, no, identifiers ng prostitution ay ang mga prostitutes. No? Pero ang kanyang nagawang thesis is the role of mamasang. Okay? Yung bugaw, yun ang kanyang focus. Hindi ang prostitutes, yung bugaw. Yung middleman, no? Na siya ang nagko-connect ng customer at saka ng service provider. So ang focus niya is not anymore on the prostitutes, but it is on the bugaw. So yung role ni mamasang sa industry or sa sektor ng prostitution. And that made the thesis outstanding. It was an outstanding thesis. So common ang theme, prostitution, pero yung lumabas, nakita niya yung role ni Mama Sam dun sa industry, no, ng prostitution. So, finding a problem, seeking a focus. No? So, I hope, tayo naman, dun sa Module 1, marami naman tayong opportunities, no, for immersion. We have joined a lot of conferences. We have been exposed to workplaces. Okay? We have been, yung exposure natin araw-araw. Nakikita na natin yung mga bagay na gusto natin. Mag-add ng knowledge, ng construct, no? Ng bagong definition, bagong meaning. So, pwede na natin gamitin yun. Okay? So, araw-araw naman tayo nagkakaroon ng immersion. Yung ating relationship, exposure to social media, exposure to the workplaces that we have, so we can make that as our venue, no? To look for our focus. Okay? Another one, yung street vendors. Okay? Palaging nagtatakbuhan si police at saka si vendor, yung mga ambulant. Okay? So, sasabihin ng iba, common naman yan eh. So, anong meron dyan? Okay? And then, when you go into immersion, you know, I found out that is one of the essays that I had. Yung pinaka-repeated term na ginagamit nila, no, sa mga ambulant vendor, yung butaw. So, yun ang nagiging focus ng ating essay. No? Yung, ano ba yung butaw na sinasabi? Yung mga ambulant vendors pala, mayayaman. No? Kasi, you know, I'm talking about the recto. Kasi the one that I had was the recto. Yung tapat talaga ng isitan, yung mga nandyan, no? Yung mga pinahabol ng pulis, mamaya, nandun na naman sila. No? Imagine mo yung mga nandun, every afternoon, they have to spend around 700 pesos butaw. Ito yung share ni Kapitan, share ng police, share ng police 2, no? Yun ang sinasabi nilang butaw. To stay there, they have to pay. So these are the taxes that they have to. So, yung konsepto ng butaw, so pwede na mo yung laliman. No? So nakahanap ka ng focus. Of course, the general problem is the ambulant vendor. The selling, the makeshift, yung mga kanilang kung ano-anong mga paninda, informal sector. But there is now the focus. No? Yung konsepto ng butaw. Yung taxes, no? Yung mga kinokolekta sa kanila. So you see the operations. And then you see a lot, no? On how it is working. Bakit hindi nasusolve ang problema? Kasi may kumikita. No? So yun ang bigat ng butaw. And these street vendors, imagine mo, they survive 700 a day. Pero may kinikita pa rin sila. No? Kasi nagbabayad sila ng 700, ang daming nangongolekta. So, things like that. No? In this social operations, no? Yung araw-araw na ginagawa natin, hanap tayo ng problem. And we can only find one good fit if we look at the focus. So, think of your lens. Saan dapat ang lente mo? No? Kanino dapat? Okay? Now, next is when we do research. So, again, pag meron ka ng focus, stay there. Okay? You don't need a lot. You just have to have one. Okay? If you have another problem, then that's another research. That's another research. So one at a time. Sabi nga ng mga Chinese, no? One at a time. No complex. Yun ang sabi nila. No? One at a time. Okay. Understanding relationship. So that's another nuance. No? We have to have relationship. We have to have variables. Research cannot stand alone. No? So it has to match. It has to match. No? We can amend. It can go together. It may not go together. But in the process of investigating, we should have two variables working because we want to see relationship. Okay? So we have to connect it. No? So merong X and Y. X and Y. So you can have the butaw and then because I'm part of the political science, so I associate that with policies. So weak policies because of this butaw. Or you can connect that to economics, survival, butaw. So it has to have relationship. So dapat merong X and Y variables. Now, most of the time, the independent and dependent, any change in the independent that will affect the dependent because the dependent depends on the independent, right? Okay, so sex, income level, educational level, this can affect the other variable. It can affect performance. It can affect retention. It can affect commitment. Yung mga ganun, no? So there is independent, dependent. Okay? So there are variables in the research that we want to investigate. Whether are they significant? Are they related? And how are they related? Okay, so pag-isipan natin. Okay, pag-isipan natin yung dalawang variables dapat. Now, research, we want to find out what is true. Generating new knowledge. We construct new knowledge. Okay? So we do not simply, pag walang ebidensya, chismis lang yon, marites. Kaya dapat there is observation. So it calls for observation. Sometimes it calls for participation. So you have to be participative. Okay? So you have to observe the phenomenon. Because you want to find out, you want to generate new knowledge. You want to construct new knowledge. And that is our contribution to doing research. So we want to contribute something. Baka yung mga, kaya sa research, sinasabi palagi, pag nag-cite ka ng related studies, it has to be 5 years from your writing. So if this is 2022, dapat ang mga related studies natin 2020, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 5 years. Hindi tayo dapat mag-cite ng mga 1994. I'm talking about studies. No? Literature, it is always up to the latest version, the latest edition of the book. So these are literature. Pag sinabi mong Karl Marx, talagang luma yon, no? So we always depend on the latest publication or edition. Pero pag mga studies, these are coming from the journals published, no? So they have to have span time of 5 years. Because knowledge may change. No? New construct may have been hindi naman absorbed, but they are not anymore meaningful. No? Kung titignan natin 1994 pa, no? 2022 na tayo ngayon. So, yun ang ina-advise palagi. So, pag gumamit tayo ng studies, it has to be within 5 years of our writing time. Okay? So, again, focus, variables, because we want to contribute to finding out truth, and that is the new knowledge. So new knowledge, these are now our research gaps. We are now filling in the gaps. Okay? Ito yung ating contribution sa paggawa ng research. Now, in research, data may be new, existing, old, but used for new purpose. So what we do in research is we add value to the existing data. Tama? Kasi nga ang research is paulit-ulit na investigasyon. Kasi nag-iiba ang knowledge, nag-iiba ang construct. No? So, inuulit-ulit natin, bini-verify. It is continuously process of verifying new construct, new knowledge. No? So, baka hindi na yan effective. No? Meron ng bago. No? Dahil dito sa data na generate, no? Na-generate na bago. So, data may be new, existing, old, but used for new purpose. Okay? So, do not be afraid to use panel data, yung data na handa na. Yung data na nandyan na. No? Okay? Because we want to add value to existing data. Data, halimbawa, data sa business, data sa hospital, ginawa siya to improve the human resources department, or it can improve the financial management, or it can improve customer relationship. So these are data that are already been there, but they can be used to new purpose. Okay? So that is permissible in research. Okay? That is permissible in research. Okay, there is always hypothesis or preconceived notion of the phenomenon. So this is explicit in quantitative research. So there is a module that we will be sharing about quantitative and qualitative. So qualitative is more on the meaning. So it's more on phenomenological in nature. We want to see the meaning of those phenomenon using the informant or the interest group. Okay? So it's qualitative in nature. So qualitative, it is exploring from nothing, then we see the construct. So we are building up construct. Kaya ang mga powerful na methodology doon, yung mga grounded theory, phenomenological approach, and then the focus group discussion, methodology. So wherein we make use of an in-depth analysis on the phenomenon. So it's qualitative. Now, in quantitative, it is using hypothesis. Hypothesis is your preconceived notion. No? Yung sinasabi mo na null hypothesis na meron pong relasyon ang ganda sa talino. Okay? So, yun ang hypothesis mo. So, you have to test it. No? You have to do data analysis to prove that there is relationship between beauty and hindi naman performance. Beauty and intelligence. Okay? So, that's hypothesis. The preconceived, no? So, ang hypothesis ay kadalasan sa quantitative. Quantitative is more of the gathering of data numerically. No? Then we do inferential statistics to analyze or present the meaning of those data gathered. So it's practically on survey. It's practically on perception. So we entertain a lot of data so we can see relationship in more accurate specialization. For example, in economics, in financial, we see trend. We can detect the trend, the multiplier effect. We can see the rate. Okay, we can look into the anong tawag dito, rate estimation. So we can estimate using the coefficient, solving the coefficient. So ito yung mga sub O, sub 1, sub 2, sub 3, mga ganyan. So the coefficient will speak about estimation. Okay? So these are explicit, no, when we do the approach quantitatively. Now, the best way to do quantitative is you have to have vast data. No? Mas maraming participants, mas gaganda ang quantitative analysis because it can form the normal curve na sinasabi natin, di ba? Yung bell shape na sinasabi natin. Okay? So, yun kadalasan ang ambisyon natin. No? Pag vast data ang ginagamit natin. So, more participants. Okay? Okay, next. Good researcher understand what the researcher did not write. Okay? So, good researcher daw understand what the researcher did not write. So, when you do research, okay, hold on for a while. Okay, so good researcher understand what the researcher did not write. So meaning to say, what is the catch here? No? What is the catch here? Apologies for a while. Ah. Okay, so how to synthesize the works of others? No? So when we do our indexing, no? So we index studies, related studies. So we can go for chapter 1 because chapter 1 has the problem. Chapter 1 has the background. So we need to know where the topic is coming from, where it is building up. No? So chapter 1 has it. So mga 2 sentences and then what's the problem? Ano ang pinaka-centrality ng kanyang investigation? And then after that, you go to methodology. So how the researcher able to accomplish, no, the process of the research. So methodology has it. So there is the design there. There is the population, the locality, the procedure, the instrumentation. So what are instruments used? Where it happened in the data collection. So that is methodology. And then after that, you know already the design, the method, the approach, and then you go to the analysis. So analysis is where the results being analyzed. No? So where their relationship found, what is the estimate, what is the coefficient. So dun sa analysis makikita natin yung ano ba ang resulta ng kanyang pagsaliksik. So these three areas of the chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a general research report when we do reporting on research. So ito yung importante na mga areas na titignan natin, and then we can synthesize. Okay? Now, from there, what is our intent? Our intent there is to see where we are more relevant. Yung topic natin, saan siya mag-fill in? Anong yung gap? No? Kasi yun ang importante, no? Yung research gap. Ano ba yung i-contribute mo? O, ito yung sinabi nila, ito yung sasabihin ko, ito yung sa akin, ito yung sa kanila. No? So yung mga hindi nila na imbestigahan, yun ang ipagpapatuloy mo. No? So yun ang, kaya ginawa mo silang related literature. So it's a parallel investigation on similar phenomena, and then how you can bring about new knowledge. So that's one technique. No? So how to index the related studies that you had or that you will have. Okay, research is opinion. It's a critical inquiry versus research. So when we say editorial, it's opinionated. No? Ito yung mga nasa broadsheets. No? But research, it has the rigor. It has the process. So mamaya, makikita natin yung proseso ng paggawa ng research. And then qualitative research is finding meaning. Ayan. So, ano ba ang ating objective? So, we have to be impartial. We have to be neutral in all aspects, no? Because we are the researchers, sometimes we get to be carried over by our emotions. So when we do report, we make sure that we are objective. Now, our output must be useful. It has to be of public consumption. There has to be beneficiary of our research. So makikita natin yan mamaya sa ating research scaffold. And then results should be written with care, precision, and concern. So we have ethical standards to follow in writing our research. So this is not a scientific process. Identify, define the problem, formulate hypothesis, if that is possible. So for general to specific, then we do the deductive. So ito yung quantitative analysis. And then specific to general, then we do the inductive process. And then we collect, organize, interpret data, formulate conclusion, and then repeated verification. So the next researcher will have to be motivated to continue our research using another variable or related variable. So our research should not stop with us. No? So we have to challenge the next researcher to do better on the topics that we have. Okay, so it's continuously verifying phenomenon. Okay, so this is our task number 1. Okay, so our task 1 is there is a research topic. So this is the broad subject matter, research problem, purpose, research question, deficiencies in evidence. So this is now your bridging gap. So what are you bridging? What is your gap? What is your contribution? And then relating the study to the audience. So whom is the study important? So you have to address, no? Ito yung sinasabi natin sa significance of the study. So para kanino ang ating research? So I have here a sample. Okay, this is related to political science. No? Okay, research topic, it is about democracy. So that is broad. No? Pero doon ang hugot ng ating research. Now, what is the problem? So this is now more specific. Lack of interest among people to participate beyond suffrage. So sa democracy, maraming spaces. Maraming mga activities. No? Hindi lang naman election because we elect people, no, to office. Pero meron pa rin tayong mga other spaces like we can create our own laws, no? Referendum, voters initiative, we can pass a bill to Congress, we can impeach government officials, we have the capacity also to do social movements, no? Rally, yung mga gano'n, no? So these are democratic spaces available for us. Ang problema dito sa research, ang nakita niya is that lack of interest among people to participate beyond suffrage. So nakikita ang interest sa election lang. Pagkatapos, wala na. So ang purpose is to study why citizens in democratic states do not participate in political spaces other than voting. So bakit daw, no, ang mga electorate or citizens sa demokrasya na lugar hindi na nagpa-participate sa ibang political spaces other than voting? So ang questions is, one, what democratic spaces? Why democratic spaces not interesting? How can it be interesting? Who are the people who do not participate? When did the interest to participate decline? So ito yung mga research questions. Ito yung sasagutan natin sa proseso ng scientifico, no, na paraan. So bakit nga? No? Bakit hindi interesting? Paano siya magiging interesting? Sino yung mga tao na hindi nagpa-participate? Kailan nangyari, no, na ang participation nawala? Okay. Deficiencies in evidence. So this is now related literature limited to suffrage as prominent democratic space. So nakikita mo sa mga literature na pag demokrasya ang madalas na topic is election. So you are now bridging gap. So itong study mo magko-contribute na ano ba ang mga dahilan? Bakit nga ba yung ibang spaces hindi popular? Political spaces. And then, relating the study to the audience. So this is for the local government unit, legislative initiative, public information, no? Provisions for laws, statutes, no? Para doon sa ano pa ang mga paraan, no? Para ang mga citizens mahikayat, no, na maki-active participants, no, sa ibang democratic spaces. Okay? So, ito po yung ating task number 1. Ayan. Okay? So, we are done. I think your next class is waiting. So let me now have the floor for clarification. So this is task number 1. Okay? So ito po siya, oh. So task number 1, submit your task number 1 here. Okay? So pwede na po dito yung individual, collaborative. Pag nag-submit po kayo dito, ang isasubmit nyo lang yung link, no? May mga link kagaya nito, oh. Ayan. Ayan. Kagaya nito, may mga link. Okay? So, itong link na to, ito yung isasubmit nyo, no? So, gagawin nyo to doon sa drive. So, pag i-click ko yun, yung papel nyo nakasave sa drive. Yan. So, gagamit na tayo ng ating Google Apps. So, i-save sa drive, tapos kunin nyo lang yung link, yun ang isasubmit. Para pag nagbukas ako, pupunta na siya dito. Okay? So, I hope that that is clear. No? So, ang isasubmit lang doon yung link. Okay? Questions? Questions so far?
Hello, Dr. Matt.
Yes, good evening po.
Good evening.
Ana.
Is there any due date for this task one?
There is no really due date for task 1. What is our scheme here is that our next session, I'll talk on task number 2. And then our next session, we'll talk about task number 3. Okay? So, I hope na wala siyang due date pero dapat updated tayo, no? Doon sa kasi ang pinaka output talaga natin is yung essay, no? Makumpleto. So yung una, yung ano muna, yung scaffold. So the next time we meet, I will comment on those who have submitted. So magko-comment ako, halimbawa ganyan, no? Let me share my screen for a while, no? Ano ba yun? Okay. Halimbawa ito, oh. Ayan. So may sample akong nilagay doon. So may ganyan, no? May mga magko-comment tayo, no? Kung paano mapabuti yung submission. Ayan. So may mga comment. Kasi I only need one piece of paper. But this time you can do collaborative. Okay? So I have some already comments here posted, samples. So definitely you can better off, no, your task, no? Kasi meron na tayong mga samples na ginawa ng mga dating students. Okay?
Thank you,
So,
sir.
yeah, makikita dito kung kulang ka ba sa X and Y variable, baka ang dami mong tanong, baka hindi na masagot lahat, no? So, yun naman, yun ang pagtutulungan-tulungan natin, no? Para makabuo tayo. So, again, ang purpose natin dito, this becomes your paper for the next semester until graduation. No? So, it becomes progressive para hindi na paulit-ulit. So, pag collaborative, ilalagay lang naman doon yung sinong mga members ng group. Okay? So, no problem. No problem. Basta may mga pangalan, ayos na yon. Okay? So, again, ang next natin na Synchronous, ang pag-uusapan natin yung mga samples na nag-submit. So, we will have a short critique. And then we will proceed with the task number 2. So ito naman yung paano maghanap ng mga literature, paano mag-compose ng ating manuscript, no? Ready for MRAD. And then the next is statistics. No? So how to get a good statistics, fit to our variables, our questions, SOPs. And then the fourth will be on the final paper na. Yun na yung task number 4. Okay? So I think your next class is waiting. Sorry for the inconvenience kanina. So thank you so much for your time. Let me just take a photo of our session.
Photo.
Yeah, thank you for joining. Yan. So sana po tayo ay uh, ready na, no? Kaya importante yung unang subject. Sabi ko, I'll take the first subject. So, para maintindihan ng lahat, no? So, the next subject would be more easier in terms of access. So, waiting na si Doc Santos for the next class. And then your next class is the third one is HRM. And then we have financial management. So, it can go through the spread of the months, no? Kasi tayo ay May, June, July, August, and then September. Pero yung September natin, hindi siya whole month, no? So, baka early September, meron na tayong, tapos na tayo doon, no? Sa mga grades, no? Kasi mag-umpisa naman yung next semester. Okay? So, I also ask faculty members na I'm taking shots ha. So hold on to your video. Mga 10 seconds lang to while I'm talking. Kasi wala tayong time, okay? So I'm taking shots lang while saying something. Hopefully sa okay. Yan. Ano bang sinabi ko? Maano na tayo, no? We are parang masasanay na tayo, no, doon sa ating mga scheduling, no? So, yun ang ating gustong gawin. Okay? And next semester, it will be your specialization. Okay? Ayan. So, maraming salamat po sa pag-attend. Good evening. Okay. I'm so honored naman na nandito si Doc Endex, nakikinig sa aking lecture. At ang kanyang special na panauhin ngayong hapon. So I will not preempt, no, your class, no. So thank you so much, no. A lot of people are helping us, no, for Collab Group. So masanay na kayo kung tawagin tayo mga addict, no. So ganun daw ang Collab Group, mga addict. Okay. So we are happy that we are able to produce 146 graduates last March 27. 97 of that is hospital administration. So meron na silang additional APEX na MPA, tama ba? At saka meron ding MPH na hospital admin and public health. Okay? So thank you so much. And yung kay Doc Endex, they can join, right?
They can join.
Okay. Pwede, no?
Pwede mag-join.
Masaya ang management, no? So, baka yung iba gustong magstay, you can join, no? I think Doc Endex is welcoming us all to the next class, no? So, thank you so much. Good evening. See you in our next synchronous class.
Good evening, Doc Matt. Thank you.
Take it away, Doc Endex.
Thank you. Okay, before we start, pwedeng 20 seconds break para sa ating mga mata. Close your eyes para hindi tayo magkaroon ng anong tawag dito, eye irritation. Hindi mag-dry ang ating mga mata. Close your eyes. Okay. At the end of this course, no, ang ating topic, ang ating SM management. At the end of this course, the student will be able to submit some output. Yun kasi palaging requirement sa PCU, may output din na sinasubmit. Pero don't worry, hindi naman pag sinabing output, kinakabahan na doon. Ang daming output agad. First day, puro output agad. So, madali lang siya. At the end, you can submit this kasi meron tayong 2 month this May at saka June. So, we have 5 meetings, 4 to 5 meetings. Ang submission naman hindi June, kundi May, June, July, August. You can submit this on August na, no? So in every session, you can submit ano yung applicability on your workplace, ano doon sa topic na di-discuss ngayon or sa susunod na. No? So ganun lang siya, no? Kadali lang yung applicability. Maybe you can write down in one page and submit it in a Google Classroom. No, we will create a Google Classroom. So yun. So normally when we talk about management, no, normally hindi na natin pag-uusapan what is management, what is ganyan, ano yung theory, what is a laissez-faire, what is autocratic, democratic, hindi na po tayong ganun. Ano yung ngayon, ano yung applicability ng management into your workplace, no? Normally, yung mga bagong management, yung Python, yung mga Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, yun medyo may twist ng konti yung ganyan yung topic natin. It's more on the management in workplace, no? How management on the team execution, paano mag-task, no? Paano mag-utos, no? Using a software, pwede din pag-usapan yon, no? Ano yung mga software available na para maging yung productive, no? Paano mag-utos, ano mga software na gagamitin. Then our topic also is what are the team performance through the coaching, no? And also management organization plan and strategy, and management organization culture, and management organization quality system. So ito meron 6 topic, depende kung ano yung ano natin, yung sequence natin, kung magagampanan ba natin yung six topic na to, depende po sa ating pacing, no? So yun yung magiging topic natin for this time. So yun po. Before I start introducing yung ating speaker, allow me to read this yung kanyang bio sketch. Our next speaker is an educator, a debate educator, practitioner, a quality advocate management coach, and a Philippine Quality Assurance Assessor, currently working as academic textbook director, managing the HR Council, the BF Group, also a current trustee of Mirago Foundation Institute, Polytechnic Institute, and formerly the executive director in the same institution for 12 years. And during those years have established the MFI ISO certification, a collaboration with ASEAN HRD institution in the Model Center of Excellence program of AOTS Japan, help establish partnership with local semiconductor and maritime industry as a well international company in the Netherlands, Canada, Australia, UK, and happily married and proud parents and educators. And student, let me call on Sir Noel Santos.
Hi,
Yan.
good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening, Noel. Yan si Noels, no? Palagi kong na-invite maging guest speaker sa other university, no? Yan. Noels, ito yung mga mga student, they are majority of them are doctors, merong allied health professionals like nurses, may medtech, radtech, all over the country. Meron din outside the country, kung meron din dito kasi merong other mga taga Dubai,
Wow.
merong iba-iba, pero meron bang foreigner dito? Wala naman po siguro, no?
So different regions ito.
Oo, yan. Meron taga probinsya, meron nasa ibabaw ng bundok, bubong kumukuha ng signal para makakuha ng signal sila. So para makinig sa iyo ngayong araw, no? Sir Knowles, meron tayong apat na meetings, no? June, paki-note na lang po, no? June, apat na Sunday except for May 29, except for next Sunday.
Okay.
Susunod is the June, teka lang, ay ano yung calendar ko.
So the first, after this, the first 3 Sundays of June.
Yes, 3 Sundays of June. Paki-note nyo na rin sa calendar nyo. Nasaan na siya? Yes, today is May 22. Next is May 5. Next is June 12 and June 12 and June 19. 5, 12, 19. So meron tayong apat na Sunday. Same time, 6 to 8 p.m. So paki-note po yung mga dates. So yan. Tapos I think Sir Knowles will have may mga some activity na gagawin. So take it away, Sir Knowles.
I thank you, Doc Endix. Good evening, everyone. I have high respect and admiration to all our frontliners, especially yung mga unsung heroes ngayon. No? Napakagaling ninyo. Kayo ang kailangan ng mundo ngayon. Kaya nung invite nga ako ni Doc Endix, agad. If I can help, why not? So allow me to introduce the topic by inviting you to use Mentimeter. If you've not yet used it before, just go to a browser and type menti.com. You could type Menti, MENTI. I'll send it via chat. And then I will send you so just type the code that you see on the screen. It's an 8-digit code, 8595. If you're already in Mentimeter, if you haven't got in yet, just type in your browser menti.com, and it'll ask you an 8-digit code. Just type in what you see on the screen right now and just choose one of the 3 options. I've seen 2 already from the screen. So this is live, what you're seeing right now. The percentage of companies that execute successful programs or projects most of the time. So hula lang, in your own opinion, what do you think? Is it more than 40% or between 20 to 40% or less than 20%? So to join, just type in your browser menti.com, and then it'll ask you a number, and just type the number you see in the screen, the code, and then just answer. Check one of the boxes or choose one of the answers here from the choices. So we're seeing a huge percentage. It's 19 already here in my screen. Yung middle portion, no? The pink one. So hindi naman ito yung mga colors ng nung election natin. No? Ganda ng research ni Doc Matt sa inyo, no? I'm interested to hear also kung ano yung mga reasons why people are engaged or disengaged sa the right of suffrage. You know? Very interesting. Ganda. So ang hula dito, those who joined us, we have more than 30 persons already here. 22 out of those who responded chose the middle portion, no? Yung 20 to 40%. They think that between these numbers, ito yung mga companies around the world that execute successfully all the projects that they did most of the time. So siguro mga, kunin natin yung median, it's 50%. More or less, ano? And the smallest number from what you're seeing the screen, it's 6 lang ang pumili. Unfortunately, bibigay ko na yung tamang answer. No? Based on research, it's less than 20%. That's a sad fact. No? Nakalungkot, ano? Percentage of companies that execute well, most of the time, it's only less than 20%. Nasa 18% lang pala. And the biggest chunk of it is not about the budget, not about planning. It's about executing well. Executing well. Sabi nga nila, baka sa Pinoy daw yan, no? Na it's not, hindi naman yung percentage na, no? It's around the world. And most of the companies, based on research, 20% lang. And ang kanyang culprit is about execution, poor execution, projects and programs. And why? We will discover the technique. I-share ko sa iyo ngayon. In your own workstation, the people that you manage, even if you are not the leader or you are just one of the supervisors or the directors, pwede nyo kagad gamitin to. Come on Monday, no? Tomorrow, pwede nyo kagad gamitin ito. It's very interesting. This is also based on research. And let me stop sharing muna. And let me go to my first screen. Are you seeing it right now? Nakikita niyo po ba yung topic? It's managing team execution today. And even before we begin, let me involve you. Ito, alam niyo na siguro to, no? That, subukan ulit natin, no? I will ask you to open your microphones and I will engage you, ask you to read the colors, what you see on the screen, as I point it using my, kita niyo po ba? I'll share my screen again. And I will use my pointer. We will read the colors as you see it on the screen. Sabay-sabay tayo. Please open your microphones. Kahit hindi naman yung mga... We will read it.
Lower down your volume.
Lang. Starting from red, green 2.
Red.
Red.
Set, go. Red, green,
Green.
Blue.
Green.
Black.
Red,
Red.
green,
Blue.
blue,
Yellow.
yellow, white,
Black.
black,
Green.
green,
Red.
red, blue,
Blue.
black,
Black.
red,
Red.
yellow, black,
Up.
red,
Red.
blue,
Blue. Red.
Red.
White.
White.
green.
Green.
Okay.
Ay,
Same.
ating ka na tumantikwa, ipatis.
Sharing another screen. We will read the colors, not the words. Starting with blue, black, red. Ready, set, go.
Blue.
Green.
Red. Green. Yellow. Red. White. White.
Blue,
Green. Yellow. Black. Blue.
Blue.
Red. Yellow.
blue,
Blue. Yellow.
Red,
Black. Red.
green,
Green. Blue.
Red.
Red. Blue. Green. Black.
Red,
red,
green,
green,
Yellow.
yellow,
Blue.
blue,
green,
Green.
red,
Red.
White.
white,
White.
green,
Green.
green,
Yellow.
yellow,
Black.
black,
Blue.
blue,
Red.
red,
Yellow.
blue,
White.
yellow,
Yellow.
blue,
Red.
blue,
Red.
blue,
Green.
Black.
Black.
thank you. Let's, I'm switching to the third. Same instructions. Read the colors, not the words. Starting with red, green, and blue. Ready, set, go.
Red.
red,
Green.
blue,
White.
white, black, red,
Green.
green,
Blue.
yellow,
White.
white, black,
Green.
red,
Red.
blue, black, red,
Yellow.
blue, black,
Red.
red,
Blue.
blue,
Red.
white, green.
Perfect. So, anong observations nyo dito? From the first slide that I've shown you, and the third one, it seems that perfect kayo, no? Perfect kayo. Although merong lang technology problem, ano? But I see you had a problem with number 2, screen. Why is that? Anyone? Anong difficulty nyo sa second screen natin?
The instruction between the color and the word.
Okay. So you had a problem with this one. Why is that? That's a good observation. Okay. Bakit kaya?
Because the words are the color then.
And bakit tayo nagkamali, no? In the first, nagkaroon tayo ng error. Some of us are still pronouncing the words, reading the words. And the instruction is very simple, no? Read the colors, Read the colors. Because of the distraction lang. And one thing to note, since kindergarten and grade 1, we were recognized, if we read it correctly, no? We were trained as a good soldier, as a good student, to read using the letters, And hanggang ngayon, we are still doing it, And whatever input, new input that comes to mind, we still, our default system is use what we were trained to do. And the problem is, if we're doing it, not reading the instructions, and we're used to doing the things that we do, we are not learning new things. And so, in this session, although simple lang yung bibigay ko sa inyong input, sometimes the things we know, yung alam na natin, are or what we are used to, are the ones that serves us stumbling blocks. Ito yung humaharang sa learning natin, new things. Therefore, I will ask today, just a few minutes lang naman, konti lang naman yung time natin, just to be open. That's what you did. Kung titignan nyo, the last slide is written in Malay. That's Bahasa. And then hindi siya common sa atin. Siguro yung word lang na puti. It's common to us. Pero we don't understand them, but we were perfect. So parang ganon, like a child, open to new things. So bigay ko muna yung objective ng program natin. 3 things. Of course, ito gusto nating lahat. When we become administrators or medical directors of the hospitals that we manage, gusto natin ito. High quality implementation in the shortest possible time na kailangan sa atin. Second one, maximum leader and team engagement with minimum disruption to business operation. And the third one, maging sustainable yan. Sustainable goal results through a full process adoption. So when you implement what I'm going to share with you, kailangan yung i-implement ito, hindi pwedeng piecemeal. You have to implement all the 4 different disciplines. Very, very simple lang naman ito. So, agree? Agree ba kayo doon?
Yes po.
Okay. So, ang first discipline is about the discipline of focus, or ang kanyang sinasabi, to focus not just on the important, not just special things, but yung wildly important. Yung sinasabi niya dito, wildly important. Yung word na ginamit niya, bibigyan ko ng stress, is the word wildly. And ito yung unang-una nating discipline. And I'd like to share with you a screen, Ito. Nakikita niyo po ba? So, ano nakikita niyo dito? You see a picture of
Man walking on the moon.
yan, that's right. Very right, And below, nakikita niyo yung words dito, This is the statement of Kennedy, President Kennedy, on May 25, 1961. And observe the date naman doon sa taas, the picture. This was taken July 21, 1969. The first man on the moon. And you connect it with the statement of President Kennedy in 1961. Just to give you a background, the US was losing dun sa space race with the Russians because the Russians then launched their Sputnik, and Yuri Gagarin then was beyond the atmosphere. And despite the strong investment on talent and yung kanilang financial on yung funds for the NASA, they were still behind. And this changed dramatically when Kennedy set NASA a new challenge. So challenge na ito, So sabi niya, I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth. If you look at yung statement niya, it's very, very clear. Unlike yung mga statements ng mga goals ng NASA way back in 1961, ang goals nila ganito, the expansion of human knowledge of phenomena in the atmosphere and space. Ganun ang kanilang mga goal statement way back then, highfalutin. And the audacious challenge set by Kennedy back then gave them a more specific rallying cry, you know, specific siya, no? And as they say, the rest was history. So the first discipline, if we will go back here, is we spend more time against fewer goals. This discipline is applying more energy against fewer goals, because when it comes to setting goals, the law of diminishing returns is as real as the gravity, no? The law of gravity. For example, if you have a factory and you are employing workers to manufacture your product, for instance, you have a garment factory, no? At some point, the company will operate at an optimal level with all their production factors constant. Adding more workers beyond this optimal level will only result to less efficient or lesser efficient operation. So, ganun rin dito, no? You have to focus on lesser goals in order to accomplish more. Ganito yung first discipline. Kasi we are tasked, no, as a medical director, minsan, ang dami nating gustong gawin, no? Kailangan gawin. But unfortunately, nagiging frustrated tayo at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter. Kasi most of the boxes, hindi natin matik. And ganito yung first discipline. Focus on the wildly important goals, ano? And may I ask you a question. Who among you can say that they can think of two things or do two things at the same time while achieving high performance? Let me get a show of hands. So click yung inyong mga...
Amoy banyo pagbaba ko.
Just raise. Sino yung masasabing kaya niyang gawin two things at the same time? Or think of two things at the same time? Parang sabihin natin, madali lang yan. Ginagawa ng mga millennials yan, di ba? Parang they are siguro browsing the internet while nag-ML sila or doing something else using or parang multitasking. And as humans, we are not designed to do multitasking. Just to show you, no? To show you yung demonstration lang, ano? Pero kailangan siguro mag-spray muna kayo ng mga kamay niyo, no? Baka magalit sa akin si Doc Endix or si Doc Mateo, Doc Matt. I will ask you, pag sinabi kong right, yung right hand nyo will hold the left ear. Pag sinabi kong left, use your left hand naman to hold your right ear. So, and then when I say down, just put it on top of the table, yung hand nyo, no? So, let's try. Please show your your screen para makita natin mga walang nagdadaya. So, if I say left,
stop sharing ka.
Hand, ano? Kasi mirror
stop
image
sharing.
na tayo eh. Stop share pala. Sige. Sorry. Ayan, para makita natin. Yan, okay. So, left, okay. Left, right, down, left again, down, right, down. Andali, di ba? Kasi single activity lang. Bibigyan natin ng twist ngayon. With your free hand, touch the tip of your nose. Pero mag-spray muna kayo. Baka magalit sa akin si Doc. Okay. Okay, ganito, no? If I say right, right hand touches the left ear. Pero with your free hand, touch the tip of your nose. Okay, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, left, down, right, down, left, down. So ilan sa atin yung nakahawak ng parehong ganyan? O minsan ganyan, no? Very simple lang ito, pero we're not used to it, ano? Ako, I'm doing this all the time, no? Kaya nagagawa ko naman, no? Practice kasi, no? Pero ang hirap rin kasi I'm thinking of two things at the same time. We are not really designed to do it talaga, no? Ewan ko lang nagagawa ng mga millennials ganyan ginagawa nila. But it's very hard to have high performance on both ends, ano? Doing two tasks at the same time. Very, very simple lang yung task na pinagawa ko sa inyo. Just to show you that we biologically were not designed. So going back to our screen, ito yung aking sinasabi, no? More energy against fewer goals, focus on less in order to accomplish more. Gusto niyo natin sa team natin, high performance. High performance is equivalent to fewer goals. Pero ang sinasabi dito, wildly important. So you have to choose just one or two. Dalawa lang. Dalawa lang talaga. Things that matter and things within your control. Kasi minsan, yung ginagawa natin is things that are outside of our control. Ito dapat, ano? Things that matter, or these are the more important things, and things that are within our control. First discipline, very, very simple. So dito, sinasabi natin, we're not designed to multitask and focus on one thing at a time. Or pwede na lang dalawa. Dalawang goal na lang. Okay. Kung gusto niyo talagang go. Hindi kayo mapigilan sa isa, no? Unfortunately, no, society today encourages a culture of multitasking. And we're losing our capacity to focus. So yun ang problema natin. Especially us, no? Maraming inaasahan sa atin. Ang daming cases ng COVID, ang daming kong kailangan gawin, no? So look for the goal. You're willing to put up all your heart, your efforts. So pipiliin natin. The thing here is to choose the best. The aim is to work on this goal with extreme diligence until it is completed. Kasi ang sarap ng feeling kung 100% high performance ka, one goal at a time. Yan. And unfortunately, sabi ko nga kanina, hindi ganun yung mundo eh. We're being forced to focus on several goals. And kaya ganun nga nagiging result, no? So sabi natin dito, discipline number 1, focus on the wildly important goals. Narrow your focus will be giving you better results. And it's important to be aware of your core priorities and identify the ones that need your attention the most. And take note, sabi ni Stephen Covey, ito, favorite author ko rin dito, no? The Fifth Discipline. You have to decide what is your highest priorities are and have the courage, pleasantly, smilingly, unapologetically, to say no. Say no. Minsan napakabait kasi natin eh. And the way to do this is just to have a yes burning inside dun sa isa or dalawa lang natin. So mamili tayo. Which are the more important goals. And selecting this one, sasabihin ko sa inyo kagad ngayon, is very difficult. It's very tricky. And if you want if you want high focus, high performance team members, ganun rin yung mga minamanage yung tao, no? They must have something wildly important to focus on also. So minsan, kaya sila nagfo-falter, kasi ang dami rin natin inuutos. And hindi malinaw sa kanila kung ano doon ang pinakamataasang level. Kasi pag nag-utos kayo minsan 3 sabay-sabay, no? Or 4 or 5, hindi niya alam kung ano yung mataas na highest or higher priority to. Try to identify one area where change would have the most significant impact. And if you can find that one area, then you've found ito yung wildly important goal. So rule dito natin is wildly important goals or WIGs. Each team has a maximum of 1 or 2 wildly important goals. So dito sinasabi rin, rule number 2, the battles you choose must win the war. Ibig sabihin, ito yung sa Pareto rule, 80% will deliver. Ito yung critical few, the 20% that will deliver 80% of the results. And number 3, pakiusap lang, ano? Senior leaders should not be dictators, but they have the power to veto. And number 4, para maging malinaw, maging clear, katulad ng sinabi rin ni Kennedy, no? Use this formula. Start with a verb, look for the measure. Ito, critical rin ito, no? Yung measure. And then use the formula also, X to Y by when. Mamaya papakita ko yung ibig sabihin yung formula yan. So to define a wildly important goal, identify where you are now, where the starting point is, where you want to be, and then by when. Mahalaga itong mga bagay na to, no? Kasi minsan nag-uutos tayo or nag-meeting tayo na pag-uusapan lang yung idea, no? And then walang inutusan, there's no one assigned to it, and then hindi alam yung deadline. So you start with the starting line, and then followed by the finish line, and also set the deadline. Starting line, finish line, and deadline. The formula is, let's say, verb measure from X to Y by when. Kung halimbawa nagda-diet tayo, we are 200 pounds, and we want to reduce it to 180 by December 1, 2022. So ganun lang kasimple. Reduce weight in pounds. The weight in pounds is your measure. You have to determine saan mo susukatin yung sarili mo from the beginning to end. From 200 to 180 by December 1, 2022. That's very clear. Another one, reduce the percentage of 9 graders who are obese from 8% to 7% by December 2022. Kung halimbawa, gusto yung i-target itong mga 9 graders na ma-reduce yung kanilang obesity. No? Now, yung discipline number 1 takes the wildly important goals for an organization and breaks it down into a set of specific measurable targets until every team has a wildly important goal of their own. So yung kaninang binanggit ko is for you. Ito naman, when you're implementing it for the entire organization, each specific department like HR, admin, finance, and core operation should have their own specific. In some companies, they use what they call KPIs or key performance indicators. So ito yung mahalaga nating kailangan i-focus. So discipline number 1, focus on your wildly important goals. Malinaw po ba? Do you have questions here? Huwag kayo mahiya. You could ask me kung meron kayong questions. I'm now stop sharing. And let me go back to Mentimeter. And so kindly type on your browser menti.com, and then I'd like to ask you For your team that you manage, for the team you are part of, the question is, what would you wish your team had from among the 5 choices? So let me share the screen right now. Nakita niyo po ba yung code? So type in the code you see in the screen. So you have 5 choices there. Type the code you see on the screen. So what would you wish your team had from among the choices? First choice is attention to results, trust among each other, welcome passionate dialogue and disagreements, more commitment, and sorry for the typo, no? Welcome, more commitment. Okay. Welcome accountability. Thank you for responding. Meron tayong 22 respondents here. You could only choose one. So from my screen right now, as you see it also, the biggest number here, 33% is more commitment. More commitment. Paborito kong word yan. This is dalawang word na pangit daw sa Tagalog, malas tsaka sakit. If you combine them, it produces a beautiful word. It's malasakit, no? More commitment. Kulang pa pala, no? Commitment yung ibang team members, ano? Ayan. We're giving our all, no? Sila ano pa lang, ano? Pa-relax, no? Kulang sa commitment. Then the second one, 19%, dalawa pala, no? Welcome passionate dialogue and disagreements. And also, 19% is trust among each other. Nako, critical ito, no? From among the 5, if you read the book, I also encourage you to read that book by Patrick Lencioni. Ang ganda ng book. 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And these are the 5 dysfunctions of a team. And then pagka binasa niyo yung librong yon, nandun yung answer, no? To each one of these. Okay? So from our group sample natin, no? From among the participants tonight, 34% more commitment. Kulang pa, no? Sa malasakit. 19% both trust among each other, welcome passionate dialogue and disagreements. And then welcome accountability. Ito, ituturo ko mamaya yung technique sa inyo, paano makuha yung accountability. And then, pagka nagawa nyo naman kasi yun, delivering the results is very, very easy. Ayan. Okay, let me stop sharing again. So thank you for participating. We're learning from each other, no? Nakukuha lang natin ito from among the group. Kasi minsan, akala natin yun ang main reason, hindi pala, no? So let me share with you, sa tingin nyo, ano kaya yung pangalawang discipline? The first discipline is focus on the wildly important. Wildly important. And the second one is related to the number 1. Discipline 2 is act on your lead measures. Ano ba yung lead measures? Ito yung mga KPIs natin, Key Performance Indicators. Kung may goal ng department, may goal ang individual, or may goal ang organization, minsan sabihin natin, sir, ma'am, with due respect, hindi namin kontrolado po yan. It's a very big goal for us. That's true. Tama yun, no? And what you can control as a team member or as a team are only the lead measures. Ito yung mga key performance indicators ng team ninyo. So ito lang kaya natin i-control. So therefore, this is the thing that we can act on. We cannot act on the goals, but we have to find ano yung goals natin. And what drives this are the lead measures. Lead measure. For instance, you're about sa marketing kayo, no? Or customer service, ano? Customer satisfaction, kung yun ang goal nyo, ang hirap kontrolin, di ba? Kaagad, ano? If you're not, kasi yung customer satisfaction is for the entire organization or the entire hospital, no? So, ang control nyo lang is within the realm of your department. Kung sa finance ka or sa frontline ka, yun lang. Yung kaya nyo lang i-deliver, no? And hindi naman sinasabi na you act on everything about customer service or customer satisfaction. You act only on your lead measure. So the thing here is to look for your lead measure. Medyo mahirap itong hanapin, unlike the goals. Ang hirap, ang daling gumawa sa planning ng mga goals. Pero ang hirap hanapin ng lead measures. Now, yung lag measures track the success of the wildly important goals. They are called lag measure because by the time you see them, the performance that drove them is already past. And you cannot do anything about it. Wala ka nang magagawa. Anong example ng mga lag measure? Yung katulad ng binanggit ko kanina, profit, revenue, quality, customer sat, retention rate, employability of, kunyari kung eskwelahan ka, no? Of work or work readiness of your graduates. And yung lag measure, when you achieve the goal. By the time you reach the lag measure, it's too late, sabi nga natin. No? While the lead measure will inform you that you are likely reaching the goal. So this is called the discipline of leverage. Leverage. Kung alam niyo yung sa machines, ano, there's what we call levers. And halimbawa yung mga simple machines like itong crowbar, minsan kung meron kang martilyo, di ba? The way to pull out a nail kung naipako mo na siya is using the back claw, di ba? And by prying it out using the hammer, the back of the hammer, you're now using a lever. Kasi using a single hand to pull out a nail, ang hirap, di ba? Pero if you use a simple machine like a hammer, you're now utilizing the law of leverage. Yung paghila nyo dun sa arm ng hammer, ng handle ng hammer, becomes your force to tweak yung mas maliit na displacement. Yung mataas na displacement sa taas becomes a displacement na maliit. Pero yung force niya is more powerful. That's what we call the power of leverage, ano? Using your lead measure to control your lag measure. So to make it clearer, so kuha tayong sample. So ito yung kaninang pinakikita ko, no? Let's say the lag measure, yung mga pinakita ko kanina like customer satisfaction, revenue, profit, they are very hard to control. Unlike yung force nyo na using a lever, using let's say a bigger stick or a bigger rod, If you pull it down, kaya nyo dislodge yung rock na yan. So I'll give you an example here. So halimbawa, how often your car breaks down is outside of your control, di ba? Kapag tumirik yung sasakyan natin. No? However, you can do something about maintaining your car and ensure that it gets done regularly. So yung change oil, dapat ginagawa natin yan. Inspection, di ba? Di ba yung mga nag-aral dyan ng konting preventive maintenance, merong mga tinatawag na blow bags, di ba? You check the brakes, the lights, di ba? You check the oil, the water, and the battery, and the air also, and if you have gasoline, no? So yan, they are within your control. Pero yung breakdown, for the car to break down, hindi nyo control yan. That's called the lag measure. So, bigyan ko kayo ng clear example. Let's say, I want to lose 5 kilograms in 3 months. Ang bigat, ang hirap niya, no? 5 kilograms, so 10 pounds. Pero possible naman, no? That's the lag measure, yung kilos lost. Ito yung goal natin, lose 5 kilograms in 3 months. The lag measure here is the 5 kilograms that you will lose. So, ang lag measure dito is the kilos lost. But, hindi to within your control, di ba? Ang within our control is how many calories ang ini-intake natin. So, kung binabawasan natin ating sugar, chocolate, yung intake ng ating mga cakes, within your control yan. Also, the hours of exercise each week is also the lead measure. Or how many steps, yung kung nag-brisk walking tayo or jogging while running, number of steps every day, that becomes our lead measure. All within your control. So, ito yung discipline number 2, to focus or act on this lead measure. So, for a company or for a unit naman, let's say you are a school, no? Increase retention rate from 91 to 96% in school year 2022. So, your lead measure here is student retention, success rate. But your lead measure is yung student persistence, student progression, and student attendance. Ayan. Let's say you are part of the customer service. Ang WIG nyo, or wildly important goal, is improve customer satisfaction ratings from a scale of 4.0 out of 5, no? To 4.5 out of 5 in 2022. So your lag measure is customer satisfaction index for a 5-point scale. But then your lead measures are your student attendance, quality of learning resources, student engagement during synchronous sessions, and qualification-related experience of faculty and managers. So in short, kung titignan natin yan, comparing the two, no? The lead measure are predictive, influenceable, like the diet and exercise, no? While yung lag measure naman is unpredictable and uncontrollable, like losing weight. So yung lead measures are actionable steps, while yung lag measures are results. The lead measures are what you do, and the lag measure is what you get. Ayan. Very clear ba? Meron bang question about it? This is very important, no? Sales leader fixates on total sales. Service leaders fixates on customer satisfaction. Parents fixate on their children's grades. And dieters fixate on the scale. And in every virtual case, fixating solely on the lag measure fails to drive the results. So indicator lang yon. But you have to look at or act on your lead measure. Yan. So let me share again another activity for you sa Mentimeter. Let's go to Mentimeter again. So let's learn from each other. So I invite you to go to menti.com again. And type the code as you see in the screen. So identify a wildly important goal for your team. Type the code as you see on the screen. 35442878. This is the first discipline. Just type in a wildly important goal for your team. Just a check kung naintindihan natin yung ibig sabihin ng wildly important goal. Okay, that's an individual one. Finish masteral course on time. Okay? Lahat yata tayo dito, no? Very good. Succeed in our task, focus on specific work, patient satisfaction, and forward referral recommendations. Keep them coming. Finish course on time, improve transition between operation. Okay, maganda to, no? Siguro ito yung nag-prepare ng OR, no? To reach 100% attendance, increase monthly income to 50,000 in a week. Wow, okay. Sana all, no? Masteral, graduate masteral on time. So meron tayong pangalawang similar. All incidents should be saved online by the end of every quarter. Ensure that trainees pass the certifying exams during their first take. Wow, galing. Sana all. Finish and focus masteral course. Talagang mga seryoso kayo, ha? With high degree of your commitment for your studies. Galing. Launch a clinic or service of the clinic in accordance to management standards. Galing. Meron pa talagang specific criteria and management standards ito. To graduate masters on time, increase our surgical cases of our trainees by 50% by the end of 2022. Okay. Saan kaya galing yan? From 40 siguro, no? So we're learning from each other as you send your pass all comprehensive exams, finish research, and graduate on time. Talagang gusto talagang matapos kaagad lahat. Very good. I hope you all well, no? Sana ma-meet natin lahat itong weeks natin, no? Documented naman ito. This stays with me. Pwede nating balikan later on yan kung matatapos natin. So yung iba siguro, as you type it, create a customized electronic medical records. Wow! For faster OPD turnover rates. Galing nito, no? Medical records. Digital na. Digitize everything. Even siguro yung mga di ba, ano pa tayo ng pag meron tayong x-ray, maganda sana, digital na rin yan. Increase the quality of life of all involved personnel. Wow. Ang ganda ito. Quality of life. Yan. kompleto siguro, quality of life, ano? Mental, emotional, social, even siguro economical. No? So some of your wigs here are very focused, and I would say they're very important. Maganda yan. So dapat you focus on them. Yan ang rule number 1 natin, no? Or discipline number 1. And the way to do that, sabi natin, focus only on a few. So let me go back. Thank you for sharing with us. Let me go back to our screen kanina. Ano sa tingin niyo yung third nating discipline? The third discipline is very, very simple. Sabihin niyo, ang corny naman yang sir. Yung number 3 natin discipline. Ginagawa namin lahat yan eh. Siguro, most of you are watching yung SEA Games ngayon, ano? Yung Hidilyn Diaz, yung metal tally natin. Discipline number 3 is about that. Keeping a compelling scorecard. Keeping a compelling scorecard. Why is that? Everyone must focus or must be aware, not only you, but everyone in the team must focus, must be aware of the score. Kasi yung numbers reflects yung attainment of the result. And sinasabi nila, what gets measured gets done. It's a very powerful management principle. What gets measured gets done. And ang sinasabi rin dito, you don't only measure it, you show it every day. Every day. Bakit ganon? Sino sa inyo nanonood siguro dito ng basketball or volleyball, no? Di ba pagka nanonood kayo ng ganyan, kapag kahit na team nyo yung naglalaro, tapos tambak-tambak na yung team nyo, parang ayaw nyo nang manood eh. Kunwari, sa first set, ang score is 25 o 2. Yung team nyo yung 2, no? Second set, 25-3. Parang ayaw nyo na manood ng third set eh, di ba? Or kahit na kayo rin yung nananalo, no? Pero kung ang team kahit na naglalaro, hindi nyo teams. Pero dikit sila. Ang score nila 21-20. Or parang gano'n, no? Parang matatapos na. Or 22 or 24 all. Parang ganyan. Parang gustong-gusto nyong manood. Kasi this discipline is about not only keeping scores, but a discipline of engagement. And it's important to show the scores because kapag yung team natin, even sa NBA, diba? We're watching here NBA, playoffs na ngayon, no? Kung one of your teams is playing, lalo siguro kayong nanonood, ano? Pero kapag nalaglag na yung team nyo, parang ayaw nyo nang manood. Diba, sa playoffs. And we are becoming engaged because we root a team, no? And the team that you are rooting for is your own team. But the most important thing there is to know or show your score every day. People become more engaged or more kapag nananalo na yung team nyo, if you are winning. Diba? Because people like winners. Nung last year, nung nananalo na sa Olympics si Hidilyn Diaz, was it last year or 2 years ago? Di ba, every one of us, yung hindi naman mahilig sa weightlifting, is nanonood pa rin. No? Even the guys. No? Kasi nananalo na tayo, malapit na tayong manalo. No? So it's very important to show the score. Because the highest level of engagement comes when they know the score. Whether they're winning or whether they're losing the game. You have to show the score. Ang importante ngayon is employee engagement. Everyone is able to visually see the score. And sometimes you don't have to show the numbers. Gamitin nyo yung ginagamit na traffic light. Let's say if you are hitting the numbers, kulayin nyo ng green. If you're close to the numbers, kulayin nyo ng yellow. If you're below the score, kulayin nyo ng pula. So kapag nakita ka agad ng team yung red sa ano nyo, sa bulletin board nyo, ibig sabihin sa meetings nyo, even during your coffee break, talagang nag-iisip kayo ng ways para tumaas yung performance ng team. And kapag nasa green kayo, you're also very proud of your team. Ano? And kahit hindi member ng team, nakiki-join na rin sa team. Because the number spells yung engagement. It's important that everyone understand the numbers, not only the leader. Pwede yung ipakita yung graphs, yung trends, where it came from, and where you are now. And the key purpose here is to motivate the team. And ensure that your scorecard, your scoreboard is simple. Pwedeng gumamit kayo ng dial, parang sa dashboard ng kotse, di ba? Pwedeng from left to right, red, then orange, and then yellow, and then green, ano? Like the colors of the rainbow, no? Parang poor, average, good, and then excellent. Pwedeng ganyan, no? And ang tanong, does engagement drive results or do results drive engagement? Most people would say it's the former. Most people would believe the former. Engagement drives results. Pero, di ba? Sa atin lang, ano? Yung sample ko kanina, nung nananalo na si Idilyn Diaz, parang it feels very good to be a Filipino. Parang lahat tayo, we want to have, kasi the results drives also our engagement, our motivation. And what the author of the book I'm reading, actually siya yung author nitong The Gist of All This Discipline. If you get a chance to buy the book, also buy the book. Maganda itong book na to. Pakita ko mamaya yung title. No? Sabi niya, it's actually the results that truly drives engagement. When a team can identify their actions as having a significant impact on the results, then the engagement is going to soar. So just post your scoreboards. I mean your numbers. Scoreboards can be a very powerful tool to engage your employees or your team members. And the scoreboards not only drives results but uses the visible power of progress. Alam nyo that you came from below, you are going up. No? Kasi pag nasa baba ka naman, pwede mo sabihin na there's no other way but up, di ba? Very clear. Checklist, when doing it, dapat yung score nyo, is it exciting to the team? Are the numbers that you show simple? Or the colors that you show are simple? Is it visible all the time? Does it show both the lead measure and the lag measure? Can you tell if you are losing and if you are winning? And so ito yung checklist na mahalaga in doing yung itong discipline number 3. Don't post so much numbers. Yung mahalaga lang, compelling scorecard nyo lang. Especially if you're hitting the numbers ng inyong goal. No? Okay? Are there questions? Let me use again yung ating Mentimeter. And I'll ask you to type the numbers. Go to menti.com again. Sorry for the delay. Ito. Identify the lead measures for your team based on the wigs that you typed a while ago. So ano naman yung lead measures? Just a check. It's a proper check. Ano yung lead measures nyo? If you understand the concept of lead measures. To reach that goal, to reach that wildly important goal, ano yung within your control that you have to measure? Remember, di ba? If you want to lose weight, ang lag measure nyo is yung pounds, no? But your lead measures are the calories intake, di ba? What else? The number of kilometers, number of steps that you took sa inyong jogging, you know? Or also the number of hours you spend to exercise. And those are within your control. Those are samples of your lead measures. Let's say you want to pass this, this course within your time frame. Ano yung within your control that you could do? Yan, very good. Beating deadlines, attendance review, lesson submit, requirements on time. Very good. Comprehensive exam, grades at the end of each year. Do all assigned tasks on time and pass comprehensive exam. Attend all lectures, pass all tests, submit. Pare-pareho yata kayo ng lead measures. Ha? Very nice. Daily satisfaction survey within your control. Very good. Ganda ng inyong mga... At least I'm now comfortable. Natapos na natin yung tatlo, no? And the third one is very, very easy, no? Just putting all the numbers nito. Both the lead measure and the lag measure. Patient safety during transfer time to and from operating. Okay, very good. Kasi baka naman napakabilis mong mag-transfer, no? Kaya lang baka naman aksidente, nalaglag yung pasyente mo. Also, safety is important. Baka nadagdagan yung kanyang sakit. Okay, very good. Thank you for your contributions. Let me go back and go to our last. Ano kaya yung last? Actually, yung last natin is the most important thing here. The last. Malapit na tayong matapos. No? Let me share the screen again. The last one, it's about, tawag nila, accountability. Accountability. When you hear the word accountability, what comes to your mind? Let me stop sharing again. So, gumamit tayo ng Mentimeter para maganda so that we could document everything. When you hear the word accountability, ano yung Tagalog or English, what comes to your mind? So what is the closest word to accountability? Kindly use Mentimeter and then type in the code you see on the screen. You could use Tagalog if you want. What's the closest word to accountability? So let's learn from each other. Just type in what comes to your mind. Wow. Okay. Perfect. Responsible. Responsibility. Paninindigan. Very good. Being responsible. Pananagutan. Responsibility. Obligation. Yan. Okay. Taking charge. Wow. Yan. Yung mga leaders. The buck stops with you. Yan. Take charge. Ultimately responsible. Take charge. Ownership. Yan. Like a steward. Stewardship. Obligation. Captain of the ship. Theory. Yan. Accountability. Accountability. What's the difference between responsibility and accountability? Pareho lang ba yan? Manning up. Yan. Tumanap. Yan. Diba? Iba kasi, pointing fingers, di ba? Hindi po ako. Sila po. Pero pagka pinuri naman, ako po yun. Integrity. So going back to my question, the second question, thank you for your, we're learning from each other. What's the difference between accountability and responsibility? Responsibility finish. What do you think? When you are the one doing it, you are responsible for the things. But accountability, it goes beyond. Kapag halimbawa you are the leader or the manager, ikaw ay nag-utos, and then merong ginawa yung inutos mo, say to Dr. John, inutusan mo siya. You are the medical director, and then nagkaroon ng problem yung ginawa ni Dr. John. Ultimately, si Dr. John is the one responsible. But you are still accountable because you're the leader. No? So ganun ang difference ng dalawa. Accountability goes beyond the person doing it. No? Ikaw rin pumili sa kanya in the first place. So that's accountability. Ang fourth discipline natin, if you look at it, it's cadence of accountability. Cadence of accountability. Ano ba yung cadence? Pagka sinasabi natin yung cadence, it's parang sa military, di ba? Yung, let's say, yung mga drill, no? Left, right, they are in sync, di ba? They're doing their cadence according to the command of the commander, no? Sabay-sabay sila. Ganito yung fourth discipline natin. It's about the cadence of accountability. And this is called a regular and frequent team meetings. And ang main topic nyo, isa lang. And the beauty of it, the rule here is you don't do it more than 30 minutes. Right? 20 minutes lang dapat ito. One meeting in a week. Very short lang, but very powerful. It's called the cadence of accountability. And how do you do it? Ganito. The first three disciplines, basically, is setting up itong fourth discipline, setting up the game. And the fourth discipline is where the action takes place. And this is within your control as the leader of the team or the leader of the organization or the department. And any team that lacks accountability will find people losing focus, getting distracted, having disagreements, or nagkakaroon ng turuan. So mahalaga dito is to make everyone accountable for your goals. Ang hirap yata ang gawin yun, no? Minsan sasabihin natin, ako lang dapat yun as a leader. I should be the one accountable. Sila responsible lang dun sa task nila. Pero how can you make the team accountable for your goals? So sabi natin dito, discipline number 1 is about focus. Discipline number 2 is about leverage. Discipline number 3, look at the scorecard, is about engagement. While discipline number 4, you and your team ensures that the goal is achieved, no matter what is going on around you. So sinisigurado mo, parang get things done, whatever it takes, by using what we call WIG sessions. And these sessions are only about 20 to 30 minutes. This is a very focused meeting. And it has a pre-arranged agenda designed to refocus on accountability. And this kind of meeting, it is what makes the difference between a team failing and a team winning. Napakasimple lang ng kanyang gagawin, no? And these meetings are designed to hold each team member accountable for their task at hand, and with the aim of moving the lead measure. Kaya pinag-aralan natin muna ano yung mga lead measures. What are within the control of each team member? Huwag mong iutos sa kanila yung hindi nila kontrolado, or huwag mong papagawa. Mafufrustrate lang sila. Madi-disengage sila. And the first rule here is hold the meeting the same day, the same time. So in my case, meron akong HR Council meeting, T at T ang tawag namin. No? Thursdays at 10, T at T. So minsan, we're meeting about 2 years na kami nagmi-meeting. And then sila mismo ang nagpapaalala sa akin, "Sir, nakalimutan nyo ibigay sa amin yung Zoom link." Yan. Dahil naging habit na nila. They're the one reminding me. Kasi talagang hinahanap nila yung team na yon, yung meeting na yon. So be consistent about the time of your meeting. Hold it the same day, the same time each week to make it predictable. So that's the first session rule. And number 2, kahit na mag-meet lang kayo 5 minutes, never miss a week session. Even if one person cannot make it, hold it without them. So talk about the other topics naman nung meeting. Kung mahalaga yung kanyang role doon, okay lang. Don't miss a week without that meeting. Kasi ito yung beauty niya, yung power niya. The power of consistency. And number 2, limit the week sessions only to the actions or the results directly related to your scoreboard. Doon lang dapat ang focus. Minsan, merong magpapasok ng agenda, hindi related, magandang pag-usapan. Minsan nagiging marites na tayo eh. Hindi kasama ito sa meeting nyo, sa week sessions nyo. The week sessions are designed only for your important wildly goals. Gumamit kayo ng ibang meeting. Huwag nyo isama dito sa weeks nyo. And number 2, do not allow any distractions and remain focused only on the task at hand. Sessions are very fast, seamless, and everyone walks away only knowing exactly what is expected of them. Sila mismo magre-report din kasi during that meeting. And they are excited to report it. And number 3 rule sa weeks nyo, do not go over the maximum of 30 minutes or you have the risk of losing their interest. Kapag lumalampas ka, nakaka 40 minutes ka na or 1 hour or 2 hours, sabihin na nagiging dragging na kasi marami silang kailangan gawin. So mortal sin dito kapag sinasayang mo yung oras nila sa ibang topic. Siguro sabihin nyo, kapag meron pa kayong pag-uusapan, i-end nyo muna yung week nyo and then sabihin nyo, sige, we'll switch over to another meeting or to i-continue natin pero iba na yung topic natin. Okay. Then number 4, have a clear agenda. Very brief lang ang agenda nito. 3 major things lang. Start with a brief report on the commitments made on the previous week. And then review the scoreboard. And then identify the success and failures. And finally, plan the new commitments and direction. Ganun lang. It's a continuous cadence of commitment and then check on the commitment on the next meeting and then what happened, and then analyze. And ang gagamitin natin dito, yung usap tayo. Usap tayo. And then number 5, prepare for the meeting. Encourage every team member to think about the same question each week. What are the 1 or 2 most important things I can do this week to impact on the lead measure? Ganun lang lagi. To impact on the lead measure. What can I do? What can I contribute? Yan. So ito yung cadence of accountability. So it's a regular meeting, solely devoted to the actions and results to move the scoreboard, and then focused and then short, only about just 20 or 30 minutes. What is the agenda? Pag-usapan natin dito from the word usap. Sa Tagalog, usap or ulat, yung U is ulat or report. They will report whatever their commitments are from the previous weeks. Kaya tuloy-tuloy ito. The meeting today will be connected to the meeting next week, and so forth and so on. Kasi yung first agenda nyo dito is about the report of the previous commitment. Actually, ito yung pangatlong topic last week. It's the pangako. And then the S naman are the solutions. Let's say, ang nire-report nila, they are not meeting their targets. You analyze. You analyze your strategy. Baka nagkamali yung strategy nyo or the solution. Yung second one naman is, kaya S yan, is solution and strategia. And the third one is the specific action plan based on that solution or that idea. No? Sinong gagawa? Kailan gagawin? Kailan deadline? What resources are needed? And this becomes their promise or pangako or the plano. So you start with the ulat ng previous week, solution, if it's not met, or strategy, if you're changing it. And the third one are the to-do deadlines, and then resources, the plan, specific operational plan. Ulat, solusyon, pangako. Kaya usap tayo, no? Usap tayo. Ulat, solusyon, at pangako. So ulat, report. Unit leader asks each of the team members to report the status of their commitments from the previous meeting, and if the commitments have moved the scoreboard. The unit leader recognizes also the contributions of each member. Kung nami-meet nila yung target nila, you have to recognize them. Because there's a management principle that says what gets measured gets done. What gets the feedback gets done better. And what gets recognized gets done consistently. So ganun ang principle, no? You measure it, you provide feedback, and you provide recognition. That's how it's done. And the second one is solution, strategia. The unit leader provides updates on the team performance, how it compares with the targets, and the unit leader also provides analysis and data that relates to the current situation. Bakit hindi na nami-meet? Ano yung possible reason behind it? And it's when the team talks about to explore new strategies. And after deciding on the strategy, it's also during this time that the leader solicits other solutions other than what he thinks of. Mas maganda nga, unahin mo yung suggestions ng team. Makapareho lang kasi sa iniisip mo. And the leader becomes a facilitator to come up with a solution that everyone will agree on. Once the team agrees on a solution, they talk about yung specific action plan. So this becomes now the promises of each. No? So each of the team members, they have a contribution to make para sa next cycle nyo. No? So halimbawa, next week, Monday, Dr. John will do this. So let me check again. Dr. John, are you promising on Tuesday that you'll deliver the report of what you've done on Monday, this coming Monday? Okay, sige, report. And then on Sunday, we'll talk about it again. So ito yung 3 steps, ano? Ulat, solusyon, and then pangako. And also on the third agenda, each member shall answer the commitment question. What are the 1 or 2 most important things I can do this week that will have the biggest impact on the scoreboard? So ganun lagi. What is my contribution to the team? So everyone becomes involved. Hindi yung nagtuturuan. The other way around. Ano? What can I contribute to move the needle so that everyone becomes accountable to the goals of the team. So ganun lang kasimple ang cadence of accountability. Ulat, solusyon, and strategia. You have to do it every week, 30 minutes lang. So in here, the week session is the ideal time for your team to discuss what isn't working and what is working. Also use this time as creative time to open to new suggestions if the team is struggling. And identify your obstacles and also talk about issues out loud with the whole team so that they can come to solutions quicker than if you are working alone. So yung kayang gawin ng individual, pagawa mo na lang individually. Pero use the time of the week, ito yung they could piggyback on each other's ideas. People commit to their own ideas, but before they commit to the others, the orders from above. So it's very important na hindi dapat i-dominate ng leader ng week session yung talking. Mas maganda nga, 80% of the time, they're talking, yung mga members natin ang nagsasalita. Because if the idea comes from them, mabilis na kagad yung tinatawag na buy-in. Diba? So with that, I thank you now for being with me for siguro naka 2 hours na tayo, no? So going back sa ating session, let me summarize. Ano ba yung ating mga important things na pag-usapan dito? Key points. Discipline number 1 is discipline of focus. Focus on the wildly important goals. Discipline number 2 naman, it's about leverage, about applying the majority of your energy and time to resources only the activities that truly drive your desired results. And number 3 naman is about the scoreboard, being engaged. And the 4th one is about accountability, using the wigs, usap tayo. This is where the weekly wig sessions come in. So as a recap, focus on the wildly important goals. Number 1. Number 2 is act on your deed measures and keep a compelling scorecard. And the last one is to create a cadence of accountability. And just to add another discipline, kapag nananalo na kayo, whatever it is, celebrate every small win. So that ends my presentation. Maraming salamat po. Doc Endix. I hope you learned something today.
I did, sir. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat. I'm giving the floor to Doc Endix.
Thank you, Sir Knowles, for a wonderful lecture. No, na ay mga ngayon, they are thinking dun sa balik nila ng work. I think very useful na magamit nila this for discipline. They can apply this yung yung mga naituro mo, mga na-share mo. Thank you. Meron bang gusto kong meron bang tatanong or ano? Sorry, naglolo ko yung aking signal. May magtatanong po ba? Kung wala na, I think let's call for a day. Thank you very much for attending. That's our next meeting. Hindi po sa susunod na sa June, hindi sa May 29 but June next Sunday. Same time, 6.
Sir?
Yes. May tanong po?
Sir, June 5 po.
June, yes. Apo. June 5.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. June 5, thank you. June 5. Meeting June 5 po. 6 p.m. We will share share natin yung link po sa group chat. Meron na bang group chat ng Sir Knowles? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dokmat, nandito pa yata si Dokmat. Thank you.
Dokmat.
See you.
Hi, Dokmat.
Wala. Okay, nag-thumbs up na siya. Okay, wala nang tanong. Wala nang tanong. Thank you for attending. Signing off po. Thank you.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.